Hello and welcome to the Empathy Podcast. This podcast seeks to explore the minds of those who not only understand or experience empathy, but of those who wish to take action, build, and practice empathetic behavior through conscious decision and responsible lifestyle choices. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, this podcast might be just for you. So sit back, relax, and use what you were born with, empathy. All right, hello and welcome to the Empathy Podcast. We're here with another exciting guest. We're here in the jungles of Belize, as you can see in the background for those of you watching. And I'm so excited for our guest today. We've had her on before. Her name is Allison Jade, and last time we were talking about you were a new vegan. You were raising some vegan kids, and we were talking about some of the challenges. But now you're like a seasoned pro. Now it's like you've been through it, you've seen it all, you've done activism, you've done the health route, you focus on the environment, you've really done pretty much everything that you could think of, for someone that is going vegan or that is living that plant-based lifestyle as well. And the topic that we're going to talk about today is a really unique topic. So most of the time I bring people on and we share their stories. And since we already shared your story, it's great for us to dive deeper into what you're doing now. So one of the things that I've been really impressed with you that you've been doing is you've been able to master the ability to help other people not only go vegan and live a healthier lifestyle, but you've also been able to empower them and give them power in their own right to make massive change. And I think that that's really unique and that's really different, because most people are out there being activists and they are helping empower people in very different ways. So can you explain to maybe the audience and everyone listening, how is it different, the way that you're empowering people, and what are you doing?
Oh, thank you. Thanks. So nice to be back on and share this with other people. So, that's been, I started as, I was definitely, when we last talked, I was bringing my kids along the journey, and I had a lot of moms, or even doctors and parents saying you can't raise your kids vegan. And so I loved proving them all wrong. And it's been 4 years now of thriving and only getting better. So that's my main activism is my own lifestyle. And what I've I was in the fashion industry, so I think even still when we last spoke, and one of the things that was the missing piece in my life was that my career path wasn't aligning with my values. So I was clocking in at work and then coming home and doing my Facebook activism and getting people to go vegan in any way I can, and writing recipes and, all the things to try to help people go vegan. And one of the big shifts that happened for me was discovering a way that, I can help people with nutrition go, healthy plant-based. So, not even, not vegan, but plant-based for the people who aren't even mentally at this, they're not empathic maybe for the animals, but I can still help them experience a plant-based lifestyle through nutrition. And it became a career. And in that career, I've been able to help and I'm trying more and more to reach other vegans, because this has been the most effective way in my so far career of being vegan. So for over 4 years now, this has been the way that I've been able to focus on actually helping people go vegan, helping people to, go plant-based. If vegan isn't maybe the title that they identify with, but go plant-based, and then help vegans thrive as well. Because one of the things that was most frustrating for me was seeing people say they went vegan and then it didn't work for them and they had to go back to eating meat. So I saw this huge problem and I wanted to have a solution. And, I found this way that has been definitely my path and growing stronger and stronger every day.
Yeah, that is so amazing. So I can totally relate to that story as well. When I first went vegan, I was working in the restaurant industry, and I was really struggling, because I was, on the one hand, I was like, I don't support animal agriculture. I don't support. I started boycotting these industries. I didn't really want to support any unnecessary suffering, but at the same time, I was making my money by selling these dead animals. So in a sense, I was a total hypocrite, and I really didn't like that. And so I could totally relate to that lifestyle and really struggling with that. So when it comes to empowering other people to be able to make that change and to connect their morals and align with their actions, how do you find it valuable for them to be empowered to maybe make the money or make the income or make their lifestyle or pay their bills or whatever they got to do while still aligning their morals and with their actions, basically?
Yeah, so many people see their job as a paycheck. And I think this is an old mentality. I think that we realize the importance of value of every moment of our life, and how actually when we, think back to what our parents did, I mean, working until like 70, working first of all, like 40 to 50, maybe even more hours a week, is a lot of our life. And then until the age of, we see our parents, some of them can't even retire because they're working so hard. And so to me, I think our generation has woken up and said, first of all, that's not an alignment, because we see more value in our life, and that we're not just trading our precious hours for dollars. That's not a sustainable life. And so definitely it took it to another level when I actually said, not only that, but I want to align the actual work I'm putting in, those hours, I want to make them count towards something that I'm passionate about. Because so many people just separate themselves from work. They're like, I go to work, I clock in, I clock out, then I come home and I do my passion, right? And how much time do you really have to do your passion? You're so tired by the end of your busy work week. And we live to have these tiny little weekends and maybe 2 weeks out of the year of vacation. And I just don't see that. I didn't see that for myself, and I don't see that for others. I've seen now a way that we can align our work and our values, and we could be so much more effective in our work because, when we're passionate about something, we excel in it. So that's, to me, if I'm going to now do anything, it has to be something that aligns with my values.
Yeah, and your story is incredible because you came from, broke, having nothing, absolutely nothing, but still fighting for the animals and staying broke for a while. And then something clicked and you were able to still help animals, still help people, still help the planet, but also make an income while doing it. So that is something that I think a lot of people listening would love to do that. Like who right now is listening that would love to help animals, help people, help the planet at the same time while getting paid for doing that?
And the environment.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the planet. That's the
environment. Oh, I didn't, sorry.
The environment is the planet. Yeah, that's what I mean. The environment is the planet. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Like how many people would want to do that?
Yeah.
And how many people are looking for the answer for that? So how were you able to do that?
Okay, well, so for me, as you knew, when I was looking for my bringing up my kids vegan, of course, I had everyone around me saying you can't do it. And one of the things I dove right into was nutrition, because I said, if I am going to do this, I'm going to do it right so that, nothing happens to them. So if they were eating vegan junk food all the time, I hate to say, but that is not good for their health. And you know what? My daughter, even at the beginning, when we were going plant-based, she was quite anemic. And this was before she didn't start with being vegan. She was anemic before, but I knew that if she was pale and had dark circles under her eyes and was coming out anemic, they would blame it on veganism. So I had to find a way to ensure that they were getting the right nutrition. I consulted with some of the best specialists in the plant-based world. So my good friend Taz had been vegan for 12 years. She's a geneticist, and I was watching her. She was one of my inspirations, raising her children vegan. And so she actually shared with me a gift card to this incredible farm-to-family superfood company that also deals with gut health and, organic nutrition, all whole food, plant-based. And I thought, well, this is a great, I looked into the company. It was amazing. I loved that they were going plastic free. That aligned with with all my values, of course. And I just got to know more about the ethics of this company. They were just so in alignment. So not only did I purchase through her this package of all these incredible superfoods, but I actually partnered with them so I can be like what she's doing. I mean, she's a geneticist. She didn't need to do this for the money. She was doing it to help other people. And I thought, well, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not in science or anything like that, but this is a way I can share gift cards. And even though I'm not an expert, this is, it's nutrition. I mean, you can't argue with, good nutrition, organic nutrition. No matter what your side of the fence is, we know that whole food, plant-based is the way to go. So this company was hitting all of my checks, and I partnered with them. I, got my own affiliate code so I can share it. And so through that, I was able to reach more people to try healthy, organic, superfoods instead of sending them around to the stores. Cause I used to, out of just passion, I would, helping people go vegan, I would write them grocery lists. I would send them to this place, that place, go to Chinatown to get this herb, go this. And, it was a lot of energy for me. And they were just buying basically maybe even just, not even companies that aligned with our values, like Nestle owns Garden of Life. And so, when I would send people, I was not getting anything from it. And I was also not giving them the best source. So what I loved was this was a way I can continue doing what I was doing sustainably, because it was an energy exchange where I was sending them to the best source with the zero waste packaging, with, they have a gift code, so they're saving some money, and that I was also able to be fairly compensated. And then, of course, this is how I'm empowering people, was when people would try this, they would love it. And, that they can then upgrade to get their own affiliate code and start sharing it with their friends and family and other people to inspire them. And I just saw this as, I was like, this is, first of all, limitless in terms of how much success we can have here. And it is so impactful how many lives we can change and make it easy for people to just have all of the nutrition needs met on a plant-based diet.
Something that is also so crazy is, I don't know if you know, but the average vegan that's an activist, or the average kind of vegan that's really trying to stand up and make the world a better place, their income is $15,000 a year, the average person. So the amount of power that they have to make a difference is actually very, very small when it comes to their money and their buying power, right? They can only do so much. They can only travel so far. They can only, get to the place so far. They can only, there's very limited, and it starts to become social media is the way that they go. And so one thing that excites me is that when you're able to have this extra income, then you could use it for the things that you care about. Now I can put money into sanctuaries, right, that I couldn't do before. Now I can put money into other activists, right, that I really support and I love what they're doing. They're making an impact. Now I can put money into healthier alternatives, right, or things that are better for the planet. Or right now we're going to be building a sanctuary, in the near future. That
and
money
a vegan community.
And a vegan community. That money is going towards that. If I didn't have money, I couldn't do these things. I couldn't make these differences. I couldn't make this power. These differences. People say that money is the root of all evil, right? You hear that, or money's evil. But what I think is money highlights who you actually are. So if you're a great, kind-hearted, empathetic, compassionate, loving human, and you care about animals, or you care about the planet, you're going to do good things with that money. You're going to put that money where it deserves and where it's supposed to go. If you have a cold heart, you're evil, you want to cause harm, and you have money, you're going to do it. You're going to be able to do it. It's going to be so much easier. So that's something that I really, really appreciate. Could you talk a little bit more about that, and maybe some of the plans that you have, or some of the ideas that you have, or maybe even some of the stories of people that what they did when they were able to have, this extra income, and how they were able to use it for good. Absolutely.
It is so important that we rise. We feel this momentum because actually Mother Earth is it's calling. She's calling to us to rise. I think that, we need to transfer the power, because right now, when we were growing up, I know, well, even in just the Industrial Revolution and just that whole work matrix kind of lifestyle, it was really designed for just a few people to get really rich and everyone else to stay down or capped at a certain level. And a lot of people are still stuck in that mentality that, because we've seen only bullies make it, that we think that money is the root of evil, but it's really how the game was rigged, right? But now we're taking our power back. This is a revolution. And I love the structure of this, this this way of making money because it actually has built in kindness. It is, I cannot make it unless you make it. I can't, like, and we are empowering each other.
You're incentivized to do good things. You're incentivized to do good behaviors. So when you do good behaviors for the planet and for other people and the animals, you get incentivized, which who wouldn't want to be incentivized for doing good things and good behaviors? I think if the world was able to shift in that way, where like you were incentivized for good behaviors, the world would be a good place. But the problem is you get so much money and you're so incentivized to do the bad things.
Right. We're incentivized to compete and to step on each other, which is so terrible. That's why there's terrible toxic work environments almost in every industry. And so this is a new structure. I believe it's the future. And I believe we've been called upon to rise even against our own, because I know so many, and I was the same way. I mean, I thought, like, we don't need money. We could just do this on our own. We don't need money. And then, you know, the things that we needed to do, like buying the land to protect it. I mean, we don't have a choice but to rise in power is the way I feel right now. And, anyone not taking an opportunity to rise in influence and in monetary, then they're not being responsible. Because there's too many, we need to have the money in the good hands so that we can start making some real positive change on a really deep level, not just on a superficial level, because yes, you can do all the activism you want, screaming in the streets, going to all the rallies, but if you can't, you know, be the person who's like influencing laws and being like in a bigger level, we need vegans to rise in politics and in like high power influence levels.
Yeah, it costs $100,000 to buy a lobbyist right now. And that's another example. Like if you have the money, you could donate your money to be buying a lobbyist. Maybe you can't be a lobbyist. Maybe you don't have the time to be a lobbyist. Maybe you don't even want to get into politics, but maybe you know that the laws need to change and if they were to change, that would make the difference. That is a perfect example. Look at Bill Gates right now. Bill Gates just bought up almost all of the farmland in America, right? What if we bought the farmland? What if we had the farmland? What would we grow on that farmland? Would you be farming animals?
It wouldn't be with chemicals, that's for sure.
It wouldn't be with chemicals and it wouldn't be farm animals.
No.
Right? If we had the land.
Exactly.
The problem is we don't have the land. We won't have the power. So that's our goal, is to rise.
Yes, we have a responsibility to do this. And we are doing it in a collective way so that it's not, the power just to a few. We can actually grow the wealth with a lot of people together. And we personally, some of the things that we're looking to do is to buy forest already. We have a project in Canada where we're buying 700 acres to protect that because it was being sold off in lots so that would have all been cut down. So we bought the entire 700 acres to protect that. And there's a lot of forest right now that needs to be bought because it's being sold off. Even in Belize here, we can see as we're driving down, all of it is for sale. And that is devastating because when all of those, who knows who's going to buy that, right? So we need to be the ones who are protecting and, as you said, building sanctuaries, rescuing animals. It costs a lot of money. There's so many things that require money, and money can be used for such good in the world that it's naive and immature when I hear people say that money is just evil and I don't want to make money, because, that is actually doing a disservice to all of us.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking when you see parts of these jungles get destroyed right before your eyes. I've seen it, and I've seen the burning. I've seen, just total destruction of beautiful rainforest. And the craziest thing is the number one cause of deforestation is animal agriculture. And so it is impacting so many lives. And also the deforestation and habitat loss is the number one cause of species extinction. These species that our kids, your kids, are never going to see ever. They're only going to see in like a movie or a story. They're never going to see these. And extinction means forever. That means forever. When you take down a tree, that's someone's home. Like, so many animals and insects live in that place. And most of the time, it's absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And so when you're able to take this land, and we're getting 200 acres, by the way. So 200 acres down here is our goal, 700 acres up in Canada, and I know you're looking for more.
Yeah.
That is definitely a way to go. And if you didn't have the income to do that, then it would be near impossible to be able to make these changes. And you're so right. We don't know who's buying these places of land. We don't know what they're going to do. Even the place next door where you're staying at right now, or just next to you, that guy cleared all the land for his place for no reason. And then he left. And he sold it and left. It was like the most pointless thing
Tragedy.
ever. But those are just so many examples of what we need to do and how we need to improve. Absolutely. I really want to talk about some of the changes. You were talking about your kids earlier. And also I want to talk about your husband, Jared. Some of the changes that they made have been amazing. I really like what you said about when you went vegan and you knew that your kid wasn't as healthy as maybe you wanted him to be, and had some dark circles, and how people would blame that, right? Oh, that's the veganism. And I love how you went into that and searched it. Now, can you tell us, how are they doing, and how are some of the changes within your kids and also your husband? Because I just saw some amazing photos recently where he is a huge transformation. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Definitely going plant-based was like the catalyst for us to get so much healthier, right? Like, it's like when you go plant-based, it's undeniable you're going to have an upgrade. But then there was another upgrade that happened when we went more organic, whole food, and superfoods. And those changes have been just on another level. So, that's why I love making this accessible for everyone, because, it can be. And Jared had asthma and allergies, which typically, I thought that's just something you're born with or whatever. I didn't know it would have to do with gut health, but he did the gut repair, and it was like within 30 days, he no longer needed his Ventolin and his Benadryl and all of these things he was taking. And so that was a huge transformation. Jared also just lost a bunch of inflammation, and he's like, feels so much better. He's a different person.
He literally looks like a different person.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen someone look like a total different person, from like eating junk food to eating superfoods. It's like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch. Definitely. We can all, it's like we have this like inner superhuman within us all that sometimes it just like, it needs to be uncovered. And this was the way for us. It was this 30-day, ultimate lifestyle transformation. And I did it too. My whole transformation, so much mental stuff. So for me, a lot of depression, anxiety, insomnia, memory loss, all of these things mentally, I had a huge upgrade. It was like I can see clearly, even though the whole world was still, it's like a lot of us vegans carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and that could take a toll on us mentally, especially if we're activists and
I know so many vegans right now that every day I talk to them and they talk about, depression, anxiety, PTSD, some of these things, and some don't even know that they have it or they're struggling with it. I didn't even know I was struggling with this, just seeing the images over and over and over and sharing it. And even when I filmed inside a slaughterhouse, it just like those things stick with you, and it's just amazing on how you can heal from that.
Exactly, because we're actually of no use if we're just going to be crying and angry about it, right? We don't realize that to affect serious change, we have to keep a level head. We have to be thinking very clearly. And so, a lot of us get carried away with the emotions. I know I did. I would have breakdowns on social media, just crying. And no one from that said, oh, I'm going to go vegan. What's really made the influence was how we're feeling great now. And so I'm seeing that I don't carry that weight of the world anymore. I feel in control. I feel that we're part of a solution. So that gives me purpose. And then seeing my kids, they went from having, just like, tantrums and a lot of behavioral issues to they're just so smart and calm and I watch them next to their peers. My kids are out of school. They've been out of school for a year now, and they were just assessed by a tutor a few weeks ago, and they were already operating at like way above their age level. So I know that a lot of it has to do with the nutrition that they're getting in their bodies. And so that's a big, like for anyone out there, I know it's absolutely a correlation. If your kids are going to be eating junk food, or even as adults, if we're going to be eating junk food, we're going to have junk thoughts. We're going to be, everything is what we eat. So even as vegans, I just think it is so important that we don't just eat like first of all, the crap meat alternatives are owned by like Bill Gates and stuff like that. So we want to be, of course, every now and then, and of course, I'm going to recommend it over a real hamburger to have that. But we have to take it to another level and actually care about our health and the environment and, not putting in chemicals and GMOs into our bodies, but, really leading by example with healthy nutrition, because that absolutely is a upgrade on all levels.
Yeah, I almost think that like being healthy is like one of the ultimate rebellions, because if the system is set up to make us sick, right? And the system that we live in, that I used to live in America, is set up to making you sick and then profit off your sickness, right? And so if you were to take that away from them, you're taking away so much of the income that they're receiving from profiting us on being sick. So being healthy is one of the most rebellious things that you could do, which sounds so crazy in a world where so many people are sick. On top of that, the pandemic that we're going through, how many people are really sick that are really trying to figure out, how do I get my immune system right? How do I build my immune system up? And they just don't have the education that's there, so where can they get some of this information to help them? Yeah. And also, why do you think there is such like a rift between like this plant-based and vegan, like as if they're two different things, as if they are two different things in a way, but why is there so much like a clash when it's like, how do we work together?
Exactly. Well, I love your like health is a rebellion, right? That and vegans are all about rebelling. So I think that ultimately we need to go towards health is the ultimate rebellion, and especially as you said, we're taking the money out of the evil powers, the big pharma, and these big industries, right? I was on 4 medications before I started this. I'm so glad I'm not part of that machine anymore. And I hate that there's a rift. I know for myself personally, this breaks my heart, but I was kicked out of Vegans United, which is a big Facebook group, because I was talking about health. Because they were saying you're not vegan for the animals if you're talking about health. And see, I was trying to merge the two. This is not true. First of all, we're all in the same mission. So whether your focus is the animals, whether it's the environment, whether it's your health, it is ultimately the same outcome. And we need to have people who are unhealthy vegans promoting things like just McDonald's comes out with a vegan burger or something like that. You're still feeding the system. And don't you think if we are empowered, healthy, we're not going to feel sick. We're not going to go back to needing anything else outside of ourselves, because we are in empowerment, right? So we want to get vegans empowered to be our own healers, to be the leaders of this health revolution. And there's so much information out there. So, I mean, a great place to start would, of course, be to start doing your own research on superfoods, especially organic, like company like this is a perfect place to start, of course, because it aligns with all of our values. So, I know that you have you can share some gift cards with your guests, which is amazing, because that will save them over $100, to get started like that. And there's so much,
Really quick, for those that are watching on the YouTube, we're going to be doing a podcast only session right now. So make sure you guys download the podcast, because we're going to be having this part continue on the podcast only.
Yeah, so definitely, I know you have a link probably in this description. So that would be a great place to start. And I guess reaching out to learn more, because of course, here we are offering this, and just, I think it's so important that we become empowered to heal ourselves and research and do our homework to make sure that we're getting everything that our bodies need, and that we're taking the precautions to repair our gut, because so many of us will put all the right foods in our bodies, but if we have an unhealed gut from all of the years of eating crap foods and pesticides and antibiotics and all of that stuff, we're not going to be absorbing the nutrition properly. We're not going to give ourselves the opportunity to feel that good. So I always tell people, start with gut health, start with having, replacing green juice every day, making sure that you're having healthy habits in place. And it's so easy for anyone to start, whether you're vegan or not. It is the best place to start.
Yeah, I want to touch a little bit on, as we wrap this up, I really want to touch up on vegan versus plant-based just a little bit, because I know that there's like a huge rift between the community, and you got ostracized, from different communities. And I've received a lot of hate when I try to share healthy stuff and oh, that's not vegan. Vegan is only about the animals. You can't share anything that isn't about the animals. And it becomes really frustrating and really hard at times. And the way that I look at it personally is that it doesn't have, you don't have to choose one or the other. It's like I can walk and text on my phone at the same time. You know what I mean? I can drive my car and listen to music at the same time. I can eat blueberries and strawberries at the same time. I think that you can be plant-based and vegan at the same time.
Absolutely.
I think that you can be one or the other, and you can be both. Right? I think that that's okay, right? I'm 100% vegan for the animals, and I always will be, and that'll never go away. I have a tattoo, on my body for it, and that's never going to go away. I mean, yeah, I could take it out or cover it up, but I never would, because it's so ingrained in me. I've seen so much. I've filmed so much. I've seen so much suffering, but I've seen it. I know it. I understand it. It's ingrained into my brain. It'll never go away.
Yeah.
Right? And then plant-based, for me, is about health. Right? You eat the healthiest plants you possibly can so you can be the best you possibly can, so you can make the most impact that you possibly can. Right? So for me, plant-based is a health thing, and that's okay. Right? And you should eat plants for your health. Right? So I am vegan for the animals and plant-based for my health. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that that is something that I wish that we could come together, because it becomes really polarizing and it really rips people apart. And then when someone from the outside looks in, they're like, those guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Those guys are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And that's where you get these stigmas, and that's where you get these sort of things, and that's a huge part of it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's so much division in the world right now. I say any way we can unite is great, and we need to go towards uniting, because there's more power in numbers, and because we are all, some people will start for their health, but they will end up getting the compassion for the animals through healing their gut, maybe, because we can think clearly, and we're in touch with our bodies more. So I think that one always can lead to the other. Some activists who just went in just for the animals are going to start going into health, and we need to work together. Definitely, anywhere I see division, I'm steering away from, because we need to work on uniting. We need to rise above all of the divisions out there right now. And I even think between all of us. So, even if you're not vegan, even if you're not fully plant-based, we need to unite on where we can unite. And if it's baby steps in the right direction, we welcome you with open arms. I think there's so much. The problem in the vegan movement is if you're not 100%, then you're out. And we need to celebrate small steps. We need to be a little bit more open and understanding with certain people and their situations, because this is how we're going to attract more people. And as you said, people look at it from the outside. I've had so many people say, I don't even want to use the word vegan. Even if they are vegan, they'll say, I don't even want to use the word vegan because it's, I've seen too much bullying and it's ostracizing. And that's, we need to stand united and strong and call out some of the bullies and say, this is doing terrible things for the movement, actually. This is actually turning people away from wanting to identify as a vegan. And you're also turning away new vegans who may be still in transition. I just don't think that it's constructive for the bigger picture. So I think people need to get out of their egos, because I think egos come into play here when, I'm a better vegan than you and this and that. And I just think if we're all on the same, if we can all say we all want to do better on this planet, we all want to eradicate the need for abuse and killing animals. So let's all work together. And this to me has been an avenue where I've been able to unite more people.
Absolutely. I think that that's so true. And I really love everything that you said. I want to thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that maybe you want to add before we wrap this up? Or also, where can people reach out to you and connect with you?
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, you can, I guess I have a link tree now on my Instagram. So you can find everything on my Instagrams, Allison Jade Light, ALLISONJADE Light. And then I also have Facebook, which I'm really active on, is Allison Jade. You can always send me a friend request. I'm happy to connect. And, I want to say that anyone can get started on this. I started, as you said, broke. I know you did too. And we have to, this is a place to start so that we can get out of the lack mentality, the lack cycles. And, everyone can do this. And that's what I love about what we're doing here is this is open to everyone between the age of 18 to no matter what age you can do this business. And you can, every one of us has people in our life that we can inspire. So don't forget that, even if you're not an influencer, you don't think of yourself as that. We've been assigned people that are only we can reach actually. So, that's the beauty of this. Every single person can succeed in this. And, that's what I want to say is, definitely get in touch with Kevin to learn more and let's work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to the Empathy Podcast. I appreciate you guys for listening. I hope you guys took away something and you can apply it in your day-to-day lives. Also, I can see that there's a lot of you listening that aren't subscribed, so please subscribe. Make sure you leave a review at Apple Podcasts. That helps people find my podcast so that more people can listen.